Okay, here we go. Riding shotgun on the back 40. I had a guy back here hunting this morning, and I was like, dude, I gotta go back there and do my thing. He just got out of here, so I didn't see anything in the back of his truck either, so he got to sit and look at squirrels or something all morning. Anyhow, I don't know, you want to talk football? I don't really want to talk football. Let's talk basketball. Let's talk Ayo. Went over Saturday morning to watch Ayo's little one-man workout at the Oven practice facility. You know, it was a good crowd of people up in the balcony watching him. You know, it was like I wrote this, but I mean, it was sort of like you got a Ferrari sitting out there, and now you're going to get to watch him drive around the parking lot at about 15 miles an hour when we all want to see him get on the gas pedal and really goose it, you know, and show us what you can do. And we were not going to get to see that, but nevertheless, you know, for people who haven't seen him, you just get a little bit of an idea. And you know, he's a tall guard, long and lean, and looks like he could probably run all day. And I just kept sitting there thinking, oh my, you know, him and Mark Smith together in the same backcourt. Whew. I mean, I like everything about that when I think about it. Not the least of which is Mark Smith would be his protector. You know, he's not a muscular guy by any stretch, and I can see teams, and he loves to attack the basket. He's great at it. I can see teams knocking him to the floor just to give him a little freshman initiation, and I can see Mark Smith stepping in and you know, Mark Smith is, I mean, if you haven't seen him lately, I mean, he's put on muscle since he arrived on campus. He looks like a linebacker. Man, he looks good. And just the idea of the two of them together. And I know that they've talked about that, and I hope that gets in Ayo's head, you know, just from a selfish standpoint. How much fun would it be to every night you go over to an Illinois game to see that? You know, you wouldn't know what you were gonna encounter. And that's not to say that those are their only two guards. We know Trent Frazier's there, and we know DeMonte Williams is there, and we know Tijon Lucas is there, and I'm sure they'll recruit other guards. But man, that would be an intriguing thing, and he'll be announcing very, very quickly. And so it was fun, and his you know, when he addressed the crowd and thanked them for coming and said he appreciated it, I thought it was such a nice gesture. You just don't see athletes step up and express gratitude like that very often. Surprised me when he did it. For a minute, he said he walked up to center court and he started to speak, and I thought, he's just going to do it. He's just going to say, let's get this over with. And no, he didn't do that. He and his family have had a plan. They were going to make that official visit over the weekend after they'd been out to Wake Forest, and then they were going to come home and talk as a family and lay out all the pluses and minuses and make a decision. And that's the way you ought to do it. And so that was exciting. They're going to practice. This is Tuesday. Tomorrow morning they're practicing at 6 in the morning. I was going to go to practice, but I don't think at 6 in the morning I'm going to. And the reason they're practicing so early is that Big Ten Basketball Media Day is in New York, and Brad Underwood and LaRon Black and Michael Finke will be flying off to represent the University of Illinois at that event on Thursday. And you know, it's weird having it out there. Last year it was in D.C. Of course, that's where the tournament was. This year it's in New York. That's where this year's tournament is. But it means that most of us media from around here are not going, and you know, so you know, it'll be on the Big Ten Network. It'll be an opportunity to watch it and so forth and so on. So getting closer though, man, to that first game on November 10th. Really getting excited just to see what this really looks like when they roll it out, and then to start monitoring the progress, because Brad has pretty much said, you know, we're not going to, maybe we won't play that well right at first, but we'll play better, and then we'll play better still, and then we'll play better still. And his experience in the first year of these installs is that that's how it works. You're going to have these incremental signs of progress, you know, where guys start to get it and get it a little bit more. And So I think it's just going to be fascinating. Football, I mean, that was just a dreadful game against Rutgers. It upset me a little bit in that I just feel for the fans. I look at those fans that show up. There's 35,000 of them there Saturday in ideal weather. And I think, God, you know, these people are incredibly loyal to keep coming. And, you know, I know going to a college football game on a Saturday is a cool thing to do, but you want some kind of results that give you hope, and they gave them no hope on Saturday. It was just a really rough performance. I think nothing makes your team look worse than bad tackling, and when it happens over and over and over again, you leave feeling kind of exasperated, and I was upset a little bit with Lovey not being more just communicating more directly with his fans. You know, I know he's not going to do that. It's just not who he is, and I know he cares. But you know, the cool demeanor thing works a lot better in the NFL than it does in college. In college, you've got donors, you've got boosters, you've got fans, you've got families, you've got, and you need to, I think, speak to them sometimes, and if not apologize for that performance, offer a more plausible explanation. And if it's youth, then say so. If it's youth and injuries, then say so. Not as an excuse, but look, here's where we are, and we're going to get there, and hang with us, and whatever. You know, I mean, I can't tell him what to do, but I think that would be appreciated by fans who feel like they don't know him. You know, he's made no effort to get to know them. So whatever. And the worst part about it is now they've got injuries piling up. I mean, there are a lot of people hurt, particularly at the linebacker position, which went from a position of some depth to a position now of almost no depth at all. I think there's only 5 healthy bodies at linebacker. Delshon Phillips is hurt. Trey Watson's hurt. Julian Jones is hurt. Jake Hansen was already out for the season. They've got other people that are banged up as well. Can't even think of them all. And then you have Mike Epstein out for this season. Mikey Dudek now hurt. The one thing Lovey's done is he has told you when a player has a season-ending injury. And I think we all held our breath a little bit when he spoke about Mikey's, and he said he's banged up. But he did not say he has a season-ending injury. And you know, he said it's early in the week, we could get some guys back. I don't know. We'll see. My feeling is about Mikey that it might be, you know, that he probably won't play this weekend, but at least it's not the Mike Epstein season-ending thing. I feel so bad for that kid. I really like him, and I think he's made a lot of fans with the way he's run the football as a true freshman. So, boy, but if there was a bright spot, Ricky Smalling. Really like Ricky Smalling. And Garrick McGee talked about how confident this kid is. You know, Garrick appealed to the receivers after the previous game. You know, compete for the ball. Jeff's going to throw it up there sometimes. Go get it. And Ricky Smalling came right to him and says, okay, you want me to compete for the ball? Throw it to me. I'll show you to compete for the ball. And he did. Yes, he did have a couple drops, one in particular. But I like his attitude as a freshman, as I do with Lewis Dorsey, another kind of bright spot on offense. So they go up to Minnesota this week. They're certainly not favored to win up there. Minnesota seems to have maybe found a quarterback answer. They're not running the ball very well, but this kid threw 3 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter against Michigan State, even though they lost a close game. But they were competitive in that game, and that's what was bothersome about the Illinois game, because for the longest time they really weren't. So that is on Saturday, and cross your fingers on Ayo. We'll see where all that leads. And I don't know. I kind of got a good feeling about it, but I've been wrong before on those things and been disappointed a number of times, no doubt about that. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. That would be just a huge get for Brad and for the program, and for all fans to be able to watch that over the next few years, or a couple of years, however long. I mean, maybe they're so good they're not around that long, but that wouldn't be all bad either, because that's one thing Illinois needs to do, is get that NBA pipeline going again. All right, thanks for riding along. Appreciate it. My dog's been riding along again today too. I'm not going to put her on camera, but we did that last week. But if I went 15 miles, she would just go every step with me. She is so funny. and she's jumping around. It's a cool morning, and I don't know if she smells. Oh, that hunter was back here. She might just smell him or animals or whatever, and she's bouncing all over the place. So, all right, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. So long.